I'm Pastor Nero, and today we'll be talking about Dorje Shugden. I'm joined today by Lee Kim, who is the head of Kechara Media and Publications, the host of the TV series The Paranormal Zone, Dharma student, and loving mother. So Lee Kim, how did you first come across the practice of Dorje Shugden?
This is going way back. I think we're talking about close to 20 years ago. Dorje Shugden was introduced to my family. And unfortunately, now that I know who he really is, he was just introduced to us as the Buddha of wealth. Okay, so he was placed on our altar in a tanka that was framed. I think it was A5 size. And he was placed, on our altar. And we kept on saying, okay, prosperity, lots of good business contracts, nothing else. It was very monetary. And now that I actually understand how powerful Dorje Shugden is, we really truly insulted him. But his compassion prevails because in hindsight, he has been so much more than just a Buddha of wealth. He has been a protector to my family in more ways than one. Business, of course, but family health, well-being, from my parents to me to now the grandchildren. So he's been around for 3 generations in my family. Yeah.
So you've been practicing Dorje Shugden for a long time then. Do you have any examples or stories that you can share with us of how Dorje Shugden has helped you specifically?
Okay, first of all, I have to honestly admit, I've never been overly holy, overly religious, overly spiritual. It was always kind of a need to do twice a year, follow my grandmother, then follow my mother. It didn't much have meaning for me until I met my guru, His Eminence Tsem Rinpoche, and that's when I learned Buddhism. And that's when I embraced Dharma teachings. And still work in progress to look into what Rinpoche teaches all the time, the Buddha within. Yeah. So seeing how and appreciating how Dorje Shugden has helped me, it's kind of like a hindsight thing because I understand more today. Looking back, it's like, oh, it's like realizations. And I would say that with my children, being so close to me, it's the most impactful help from Dorje Shugden. When I was pregnant with my second son, Lucas, I got very sick. And being stubborn, as I am, I refused to see a doctor until I was literally forced and dragged to the hospital. And being pregnant, there was very little that the hospital could do to confirm what was wrong with me. And at that time, I already had my first son, Julian. And then Julian got sick at the same time I did. So it was like a triple whammy because I had Lucas in me, and we were already 7 months pregnant. And I had my Julian, who was 3. And I was in a state of panic because Julian had pneumonia. He was frightened because they had to feed him his medication through an IV. And I was panicking because I could not really be diagnosed, but I had all the symptoms of pneumonia, and being pregnant, they could not, give me the medication. They couldn't, give me an X-ray to determine how bad I was. And it was just chaotic. And then my husband was, beyond worry, and we were literally staying in the hospital. And it was very uncomfortable. It was a very scary time of my life. I was, worried because I couldn't care for Julian, and then I was worried because Lucas was in the stomach, and then just suddenly, Julian did not appear afraid. In fact, Julian said, "I'm okay, mommy, I'm okay." Of course, he screamed when they put in the IV, but you could see the child just calm down. And like I said, this was quite a while back, and Dorje Shugden in our lives was the Buddha of wealth. But in hindsight now, I understand that he was actually there because things just fell into place. The right doctor came along, and then I was so irritable. I had the best nurses, and it was just a time where fear overwhelms you, and it is only through a faith, a belief, that you can have that kind of serene protection, and that was one. And then, of course, like I told you, I understand who Dorje Shugden really is, a powerful protector. And in more recent times, after meeting my guru, His Eminence Tsem Rinpoche, my eldest son Julian got very sick, and he had his lymph nodes swelled up, and there was just nothing we could give him at home that would make him feel better. And being an athlete, he was like, for him to come up to me, with worry and fear in his eyes, saying, "Mommy, I don't know what's wrong with me." We went to the hospital, and I had informed Rinpoche that Julian is in the hospital. I mean, I toned it down. I mean, I didn't want to worry my guru. And then Rinpoche arrived. And then he did prayers. And I knew it was the prayers of Dorje Shugden. And Julian drank water with the blessed protector rice and money pills of Dorje Shugden. And he started to recover. Of course, he was, we believe that the Buddhas put the doctors and medicine on the planet as well, so we do both. And until today, Julian is well, absolutely well. He's back to sports, everything's normal. But until today, we could never get a clear diagnosis what was wrong with Julian. I mean, the word virus, viral infection, that's so common. It's as common as, it's going to rain tomorrow. And so I'm just blessed that Dorje Shugden has been in my family, and now with my guru in our lives, the combination of guru and Dharma protector is something that everybody should have, because it's blessings and protection and kindness beyond words, beyond.
Throughout this whole ordeal, you've seen just how powerful Dorje Shugden is and how much benefit that he's given you in your life and how much he's helped you and your family. There's a lot of people around the world who want to practice Dorje Shugden, but there is a controversy surrounding the practice. So what are your thoughts on what these people are going through, and how does that make you feel?
I have been asked, why do you still practice Dorje Shugden? Seriously, because I can, because I choose to, because I have the freedom and the right to choose my belief and my faith. And on that note, I also would say that yes, the controversy has caused a lot of suffering. A lot of people have died, a lot of discrimination, many people's rights to an education were taken away, rights to medical help is taken away, simply because they exercise the freedom of choice, simply because they have faith in Dorje Shugden. For me personally, I will continue because Dorje Shugden has been good to me. In my line of work, hosting the Paranormal Zone, I encounter many different situations. I meet many different seen and unseen beings. If not for the protection of Dorje Shugden and the blessings of my guru, I would imagine that my crew wouldn't be so safe. I wouldn't be so safe. But most of all, Dorje Shugden, his mantra, his prayers, gives me clarity in my mind, a calm state of mind, and kindness and compassion from my heart. And I think that if those virtues were cultivated in all of us, if we go by those virtues to be better people, then the controversy should not continue. I appeal to the leaders, the people who have authority, the people who have a say. I appeal to them to please meet, see how people suffer because of this controversy, because of this ban. in this time and age, we shouldn't be having to suffer this. There's enough suffering. We cannot turn back time karmically, but we can stop the suffering. We can change tomorrow by presently stopping this separation, discrimination, segregation, stopping this pain and sufferings. It is not necessary.
Thank you, Lee Kim, for that heartfelt appeal. In fact, Lee Kim is right. There is enough suffering in the world without us having to add on to that suffering. And there's a lot of people who are persecuted because of their religious beliefs. And this persecution is unnecessary. We ourselves are adding to other people's pain and their suffering. So mirroring Lee Kim's appeal, I'm appealing to everyone watching this out there. Please do make a stand against persecution, against religious persecution.
Absolutely.
And especially as we're on the topic of persecution against Dorje Shugden practitioners. Please do make yourself heard and do make a stand, because with your help, things can change. And the persecution, the segregation, the pain and the suffering can end. So I'd just like to thank Lee Kim for joining us today and sharing with us the stories of how Dorje Shugden has helped us.
It's my pleasure.